some things that I'm embarrassed about when it comes to my video game room and my collection in general. And I'm curious if anyone else out there feels the same exact way. No matter what size your game room is or where your game room is, I feel like a lot of us have some of the same problems or same situations happening. So all the time we see that people's game rooms flood. Just anytime that there's some sort of storm or something that happens, there is something tragic that happens in the game room. You see all of those videos, people have fires, things catch on fire, all of these mishaps happen, even with shelving. You see those pictures of the games just crashing down, things weren't set up right, the shelves come off the wall, and I've had it happen too. When I first moved in to my game room, I turned on one of my computers, and of course one of the little caps exploded, and there was smoke coming out of that item. Just some maintenance that you have to do when you have these items. And even recently, there was some sort of tornado or something that happened, and there was just a lot of flooding in the game room because the drain was not clean. That was my fault. So some of the water backed up and started coming in through the whole threshold of the door. It was just too much water. Not enough was draining, and it was just crazy. There was a lot of water that came into the game room, and that is something that completely, ruined the game room for a little while in terms of just projects that I had to do. So I was super thankful that, nothing was essentially destroyed other than the bottoms of a couple shelves, but because everything is lifted off the ground, I was able to, essentially save everything. But it's just crazy because this stuff happens so frequent, and I hear so many people talk about that. So when you have carpet, you definitely have to worry about that because you really have to get underneath of the carpet to have it dry, and it's like a constant battle. You have to worry about this airflow. You have to have these dehumidifiers. You have to change out the filters. You have to have this clean area. So one of the biggest misconceptions and really a problem in the game room is that people always think the game room is clean, and that is not the case. Whether you buy games, whether you play them, or whether you make content or a combination, you'll always see some sort of pile or new set of games that you just bought that have to be clean, they have to be categorized, they have to be organized and put away. So most of these content creators, it's like what I call a pile. This crazy pile of video games and just items that you have to put away. You have to find a spot for, and you have to put them away. So it's like these piles that just keep on growing. I know I certainly have that because I don't just have one pile. I have multiple piles. There's just that constant reorganization that has to happen. That leads me into it. Constantly moving things around the game room. So something might be better suited somewhere else. And essentially, as we're going through the game room, something that I just don't find too fondly of is that wasted space. So that is the part of the shelf that you can see. So you have to really organize the height, differentials, and everything else on the shelf. And you really have to maximize the amount of space that you have. It's just something that I don't particularly like when I see my game room, and something that I'm always trying to make the item better suited somewhere else. So anyone else have that need to constantly change the things around just because, people are coming over? Especially when I have people coming over, I don't want them to see the piles that I have accumulated. I don't want them to see the mishaps that have happened in the game room. And I don't want them to see all this wasted space and think that something will look better somewhere else. So the constant, changing things around, just other rooms that I have where I'm constantly changing some of the shelves out just to better suit that. Space is always an issue. That is the number one complaint that I always hear. There's never enough space for all of it. And I hear how always people want more shelves. They want more displays, but they just can't fit some of those big items in their game rooms. People have closets that look like mine. Essentially, a lot of the closets in this area are just jam-packed full of video games. And that is something that when people come over, they go to grab a door handle, and I'm like, no, don't look in that closet. You do not want to see that mess. And then, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that Hulu episode that I was featured in on ABC's show Nightline, Impact by Nightline, they showed a clip of my shower. And it's just one of the rooms that I don't really use in this house. You know, there's other bathrooms, but it is just so crazy that I resorted to putting extra storage items in there. There's a couple closets in that bathroom, and there is the shower, and it's so embarrassing when people, you know, just go to move that curtain and they see tons of gaming items. Things that I could just not fit in the game room. I haven't dedicated the time to organize that stuff, and I'm definitely curious if anyone else has, you know, experienced that or has a bathroom that looks that way. That was something that when I saw it and some of my family saw it, I was like, oh boy, I had to change that. But I have not yet, and that is something that, you know, I'm definitely working on. There's always some sort of project going on in the game room, and I want to know what you guys are embarrassed about. Is it how you display items? Is it the piles of unfinished items that have not been cleaned or put away? Is it a certain space that you just haven't dedicated the time to? Is it the fact that you have games in your game room that you have not played yet? Is it the fact that you don't have some of the systems and things hooked up easily? So if someone wants to play those items, you have to get it all plugged and hooked up, and you know, it just takes some time to set aside. Or is it some of the mishaps that happen in your game room, and then you have to move shelves out of the way, you have to take everything off the shelf, you have to dry everything out, you have to protect everything and put it all back? I want to know what are some of the misconceptions, the problems, other things that you have experienced or that you're embarrassed about in your own game room. So let me know in the comments down below, and something has to change. So make sure you guys stay tuned, because I will be finally tackling some of these items that I have just been putting off, some of these projects, and I really want to make this game room maximize the space and make it a little bit more convenient to use. And I can't wait to take you guys along with me on that journey, because I'm already finding some things in the toy room that should really be in the video game room. So of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos and stay tuned for more.